Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Why do you not like Bad Boys?
You've never seen it, right?
This is definitely the same movie we're thinking of with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith.
And Will
right?
Smith, yes, that one. The
What
buddy
is?
cop movie.
I've seen that it's like one of those classic like 90s movies, but I've never actually sat down and watched it. No.
So here's the thing, right? I say to you, what genre is Bad Boys? What's your answer?
Action comedy?
Okay. Would you say buddy cop as well?
Sure, just based on the marketing. Yeah.
Right, because they're both cops, right? And they're friends.
What are you trying to say?
Here's the thing. I have never seen two characters that are supposed to be framed as friends hate each other as much as these two characters do. They
is it
are
friends
not...
like Bucky and Sam?
No.
From Avengers? Like that?
No. Because Bucky and Sam like each other at least a little.
I guess.
And they
by the end of
tolerate
the
each other.
show, then yeah.
They tolerate each other, and they don't constantly fucking argue about everything, not even in a fucking funny way. The fucking characters in Bad Boys do nothing but argue. They do nothing but argue.
Well, they are bad boys for life. As
they're bad
P.
friends,
Diddy says.
that's for sure.
I don't think the movie would have done as well if it was called Bad Friends.
Because they do at the beginning, it's like, oh, bad boys for life. Like, they've been friends since middle school, or not even earlier, elementary school, whatever, right? Like, they do nothing but argue. They're not friendly towards each other once in the whole fucking movie.
How recently have you seen it? Because I feel like you're embellishing.
I saw it during the pandemic. It was on my list of movies I've never seen that I want to see.
Okay, so this is still kind of fresh to you then.
Very. And I remember being so excited because Bad Boys 3 got announced. Everyone's so happy. I think it had actually just come out. And I was like, well, the first two are on Netflix. Let me check it out. It's a fucking popular-ass movie. Everybody loves it, right? It's got to be great. I don't understand why. I have no idea why this movie is so popular. It is so frustrating to watch. It is not fucking funny. They do nothing but argue. And the worst is... So they're cops, right? They're investigating this drug dealer who's moving a massive amount of drugs, and he committed a murder too. The friend of the victim, she gets in touch with Will Smith, and they basically have her under like amateur witness protection. They're hiding her in Will Smith's house, and she's the fucking worst. She's the worst character. She constantly wants to, like, get revenge for her friend that was killed and get involved in this shit she knows nothing about. And they keep telling her, stay here, don't do anything. You're not a cop. We are cops. Let us handle it. And they constantly want to put her in official witness protection, and she refuses because she wants to be involved for some fucking reason. And there's a moment where they find out, Will Smith and Martin Lawrence, that the bad guy is going to be at this club. Or they think he will be. They're not even 100% sure he will be. They're like, okay, we have a lead. We think he might be at this club tonight. Stay here, witness girl. Don't get involved. What does she do? She goes to the fucking club by herself to try and kill this guy. Guess what? It doesn't work. It turns into this whole fucking chase with, like, explosive barrels. I'm not even kidding. Like... a car chase, and they all almost die. And when they finally get to a safe place and the car chase is over, she says to them, "You call this witness protection?" And I almost punched my television. What the fuck are you talking about? Your dumbass caused this. If it wasn't for you, everything would have been fucking fine. And you're blaming them for the explosive barrel car chase that just happened? Not to mention there's this whole fucking aspect with Martin Lawrence's character and his wife, and it just sucks because it's one of those fucking things where it's like, if you just told the character what's going on, none of this would be a problem. Also, she knows he's a cop. All he has to say is, I'm working on a case, and it should be fine, right? But no, it's a fucking she's angry at everything he does scenario. And again, they do nothing but argue. They're not genuinely friendly to each other a single goddamn time. It's so annoying, and I don't remember if it's in the first or the second movie, but there's a scene, because the second movie's no better. It's the same shit. I was expecting it to be better. It was not better. There's a scene where they are in a civilian car, and they have to pull someone over, and a gun gets pulled on them, and they start arguing with each other. And I thought for a second what was happening was that they were pretending to argue so that they could turn it around and jump the guy. No, they were genuinely arguing in that moment. It's nonstop. It's fucking annoying. I do not like that movie, and I don't know why people do.
You got that off your chest, huh?
It came up, and I just had to let that out.
You get that out of your system?
Mm-hmm.
I've been on the Wikipedia page for the whole time, just reading up about this movie. Apparently a lot of it was improv.
I don't know why that's what they decided to improvise.
And there was a big argument about apparently there's a scene at the end where one of them says, "I love you" to the other one.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently
Why?
Will Smith didn't want to do that, and so Michael Bay got really pissed off, and him was just like, you know what, just do whatever you want. And then he was like, oh, fine, I'm Will Smith, I'll say I love you.
That sort of encapsulates the whole movie. He didn't even want to have that one moment of fucking bonding at the end of it.
It was 1995, Will Smith was being a diva, who'd have thought?
Yeah, that's such high school bullshit. It's like, do it. No, I don't want to. All right, fine. Do whatever the fuck you want. Passive aggressive. And it's like, okay, fine, I'll do it.
Fine, I'll do it, Mr. Michael Bay. Don't blow me up.
With your explosive mind powers.
Yeah, I feel like that's a forever Michael Bay's issues. Whenever an actor is being difficult, he's like, all right, you're getting blown the fuck up on dynamite, man.
You're the fucking munition for my next explosion scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, is
that really just like 7 minutes of you ranting about Bad Boys?
Yeah.
This obscure fucking movie from 1995. Really?
Yeah. Also, we don't have like a set thing that we've decided on for today, but I thought about
we're gonna go wherever the wind takes us, clearly.
I was thinking about, did you finish Squid Game?
Yeah.
So let's talk about that, and also What If. Now that that's done.
What if Squid Game was really involving squids?
What if they were squids?
That was probably the biggest disappointment to me, is that there was no squid.
I mean,
there's no squid in Squid Game.
There was the Squid Game.
But there's no squid.
That's not true.
Huh?
Isn't there that scene where Sungwoo's mom is like chopping up a squid?
Okay, there is one squid. In like a 2-second shot. That's not enough for me.
It counts.
It counts. It fucking what? It counts to what? My fucking satisfaction? No, I think you'll find it doesn't.
To be fair, it wasn't called Game of Squids. It was Squid Game, and they played the Squid Game.
It's not even called Squid Game. The game is just called Squid.
That's what the subtitles called it. They called it Squid Game.
It's dumb.
You're insulting Korean culture now?
Yeah. Maybe I am. Me, the K-pop stan. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's do What If first. Let's just jump into it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of Bitter Chatter. He's bitter, I'm chatter. Well, I guess this episode I'm bitter because that fucking Bad Boy's right. But yeah, we're gonna be in the
mood. It's got you in the right mind frame to talk about some pop culture programming on the television. Not even television, just online.
Although I think our opinions of these will be a little bit more positive. But yeah, so spoiler warning if you haven't watched Marvel's What If or the Korean drama Squid Game that is on Netflix.
What the fuck are we going to title this episode? Please tell me. I'm tired of coming up with titles. You come up with one for this.
How about...
No, that's a terrible idea.
Just a bunch of question marks. It's pronounced as the Tim Allen noise.
My Tim Allen sometimes is Scooby-Doo and vice versa.
Oh god, if I could remember any other character names from Home Improvement.
Does anyone know?
No.
What's Tim Allen's character?
Tim Taylor. Tim the Toolman Taylor.
Oh, yeah. And also they share the first name.
Yes.
If there were any other name, you would not remember it. He's just Tim Allen.
They had to name his character after him, otherwise he wouldn't remember when characters were talking to him.
It's all that cocaine that he did.
Yep, Tim Allen. Big cokehead Tim Allen.
You know he was a smuggler, right?
Like, actually?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he did go to jail, right?
Yeah.
That's what he went to jail for, was smuggling coke?
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious.
And then he became Buzz Lightyear and he saved the day.
And then he became Mr. Hollywood Conservative.
I don't know
and
what
everybody
the
wants to get
timeline
his
is.
show canceled.
This isn't the fucking Tim Allen show, alright?
Tim Allen's not in Squid Game, thank God.
Imagine if he
But
was.
what if he was?
What if? Alright, just fucking pick one. What are we doing first?
Let's talk about what if first.
Alright, cool.
So I need to hear your initial thoughts and then how they changed, because you have not told me how you feel about this show since it started.
Well, how about we just give a little summary for those who maybe aren't in the know. If you're not in the know, then I'm going to be genuinely surprised, but I don't think most of our friends are actually, like, die-hard Marvel fans. Some are going to be surface level, some might not even watch any of the MCU, so...
Sure, and this
is lay out the field here.
This is probably going to go down as the most skipped Marvel product, because it was generally viewed as very non-canon and didn't really matter. It was more of a for fun thing. It's an animated show, 9 episodes long, and it's a bunch of what-if scenarios, every episode being a different scenario. For example, what if Peggy Carter took the super soldier serum instead of Steve Rogers? What if all the Avengers were assassinated mysteriously? What if there was a zombie apocalypse in the Marvel Universe? Shit like that. And I enjoyed it. I don't know how Brooks feels.
You can safely say that I have mixed opinions, I think.
Okay, explain this.
Well, there's a lot of different things about this show. It's a big departure from your standard Marvel stuff in that it is animated.
Yeah.
That's the big, selling point of this, is that it's completely animated. Some of the actors from the MCU do reprise their roles, some of them don't, which is odd to me, but
right,
some
like
of them
Bucky
are
is still Bucky.
Some of them are reasonable, some of them are not.
Explain.
Tom Holland doesn't play Spider-Man. Why does he not play Spider-Man?
You never know what the contractual language is for these actors. I don't know.
I mean, let's look at some of the ones who were, who they were. You've got, as you said, Bucky, played by Sebastian Stan, Peggy Carter, Haley Atwell.
Natasha's not still played by ScarJo, is she?
No, that was an impersonator.
Pretty good impersonator, I gotta say.
Sure. Jeremy Renner was Hawkeye. You had Michael Rooker as Yondu, Josh Brolin as Thanos, Kurt Russell was in it as Ego. There's a couple of missing names that are just weird to me.
Yeah, there's no Robert Downey Jr.
Well, that one you can kind of get, because he's Robert Downey Jr. But yeah, no, okay, so some of the voices were not the same. Some of them were okay. Some of them were not. Looking at you, Ultron.
Oh, I thought it was fine.
It was fine, but there's absolutely zero comparison to be made against James Spader, whose voice is scratches an itch. That's all I can say.
Sure.
His Ultron performance was peak voice acting for me.
Sure, I just don't view this as a mark against the show.
I do.
Okay.
Because it is the show, and that is what's being presented to me. If I don't like it, then I'm gonna say it.
Alright.
The animation style was iffy at times.
Disagree, but okay.
The best part is the scenery, the worst part is the facial expressions.
Disagree, but okay.
Because we can agree that the scenery is mind-blowing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because they had all these crazy set pieces that are pretty much one-for-one with the real-life MCU that we've seen.
Yeah.
But then facial expressions were... a lot of the times I feel like they didn't bother. They just did not put any effort into the faces at all, and they just don't match what the character is emoting or saying or expressing a lot of the time. So that takes me out of it a little bit, breaks my immersion.
I very much did not get that feeling from it. I thought it was very fine.
Well, good for you. Some of the plot lines were a bit meh, like inconsequential, not very entertaining. Some of them were. Like, there are some great episodes here.
Well,
My
okay, so
favorite-
what are the plots you didn't like and the ones you did like?
Well, I didn't like the Peggy Carter episode.
Wild. Okay.
Because, like, yeah, the premise is there and everything, but it's literally just beat for beat the same story, just with swapped character roles.
That is the point.
Then why bother? Why do that?
It's also not, because you get Steve as the first Iron Man, which is dope as shit.
Yeah, but then he just plays the Bucky role. He gets removed from the plot in the exact same way.
Okay. It's a what if. What did you think was going to be different?
I don't know, they could have done something different other than just going like beat for beat with his original story.
But the
Like, if
references
you're gonna
and
do
cha-
this, you have to go buck wild. They
You
didn't
don't-
with this.
Let me get this straight. You don't think the big Hydra monster coming out at the end was Buck Wild?
Oh, the random fucking tentacle monster that just never shows up again. It's completely just written in out of nowhere.
What do you want?
If it's a what if thing, I want these stories to be so entirely different. I don't want them to just be beat for beat recreations with different skins. Because otherwise, what's the point?
Seeing this different character go through that life.
With pretty much the exact same results.
So what other ones didn't you like?
Let's have a look at the episode list. So first off, you had What If Captain Carter with the First Avenger. The second episode, I didn't like it at first, but then it kind of grew on me.
Why didn't you initially like it?
I don't know, it's just like some of the writing was a bit cringe at times with what's his face? What's the guy? Star-Lord, my best friend!
Oh, I don't remember his name, but yeah.
That guy, I need to find out his name. He's credited here. Yeah, that one was just kind of annoying. But, you know, the actual, like, the way the story was presented to us was... It grew on me, you know? You still have the same, the central message of family, which is central to the Guardians series of films, so... And, you know, just mad caper, like, heist, hijinks, I'm always down for that. That's why I like Ant-Man and Endgame so much.
Not to take away, I love this episode, but as someone who's a big fan of the Peter Quill character, watching this episode dunk super hard on Peter Quill was a little like, oh man.
Korath the Pursuer, that's the guy.
Ah, yeah.
Played by Digimon Huzu. Yeah, I thought it was good, like, after watching it again with Ellie, because they were just enamored with the whole thing. They loved it, because, you know, obviously they love Black Panther, so
Yeah.
that kind of helps. But yeah, no, I thought it was really cool that they just had, like, Thanos in this universe just realize the error of his ways through a simple conversation with T'Challa.
I love how I love the dynamic of, like, putting T'Challa up on this amazing pedestal as the best person that could have ever been Star-Lord, but I do also have this, like, a little tinge of sadness as the entire episode is essentially saying, Peter Quill sucks as Star-Lord in comparison.
Well, that's kind of a point of his character, in a way, is that he's kind of a lovable loser.
Yeah, I suppose.
That's
having
his
him, like,
shtick. That's what
mopping
Chris
up
Pratt is good at.
having him mopping up a Dairy Queen at the end was, like, just the hitting the nail on the head of, like, oh, man.
Like, I don't know, like, what else was he gonna do?
Yeah, I suppose, like, if he just lives in Missouri his whole life, that is probably where he ends up.
I just love that it was the same Dairy Queen as in the second movie.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it just takes place on that one stretch of random road.
Yeah.
But no, okay, second episode, that grew on me. The third one I liked immediately out of the gate.
Which one is that?
It's the one where all of the Avengers die before they become Avengers.
So why did this one hook you?
This one, because it's, like, entirely, like, off the beaten path, like, completely. It's just a completely different story, as opposed to just swapping character roles. And for that, I thought it was really well written. But I will say that it doesn't hit as good on repeated viewings.
Yeah, I suppose when the mystery's taken away.
Yeah, when you know the twist, because I didn't see that coming at all. I was like, oh wow, this is, like, super well done and super cool, but after you know it, it's just kind of like, well, okay, that makes sense now.
Yeah.
But
no, I think
really
it's a
liked
good
that
twist.
one.
It's a good twist, and then the twist on top of the twist of like, who kind of comes and quote unquote saves the day is pretty great.
Yeah, exactly. So,
but yeah.
you got that going. The fourth episode was What If Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands?
I fucking love this one.
Yeah, ish.
What?
The title out of the gate, like, I'm nitpicking here because that's what I do, but like, I literally thought the episode would be like, what if he got stabbed through the chest and literally lost his heart? But
then he'd just be dead.
But what if, though?
What if what? What if he died?
Yes, what if he died? That'd be cool.
Nah, but I like what they did with the episode instead.
Yeah, it was about his love interest, who was entirely inconsequential in the first movie, by the way.
I don't know about entirely inconsequential.
Until this episode came on, I didn't even remember who she was, and I've seen Doctor Strange like multiple times. I just can't remember her name.
Well, yeah, Christine.
I know,
She plays a right, but I mean, like, she plays a big part in his like, kind of becoming a better person.
Yeah, sure. It's just probably bad on me then. It just reflects badly on myself. But I liked that this one ended the way that it did, on just a downer ending.
Yeah, it's the first episode that's just like, nah, shit sucks now.
Yeah,
that's what happens in this What If. Shit just ends bad.
Shit sucks until it doesn't.
Well, yeah, but that's not this episode.
Because of later episodes. But no, this episode on its own, I think, yeah, it's pretty neat, actually.
And even then, for him personally, still sucks.
Yeah, but, it is what it is. That's what happens when you go, like, what's the term? Full Sorcerer Supreme?
Oh, I don't even know if that counts as Sorcerer Supreme. It's just
That's
like...
what happens when you go full Dark Dimension.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. It had some really cool fights as well.
And it subverts expectations with that, because it's like, when you get to the fight, the climactic fight of the episode, you think you kind of got an idea of what might happen, and then, nah!
Nah, fuck that. Evil.
Yeah.
Evil. So yeah, that was neat. That was decent. Zombies is the fifth one.
This is the best episode.
No.
What do you mean no?
It's good, but it's not the best.
I don't see an episode that tops this one.
I think that comes later. But yeah, I have not really any complaints about this one.
Yeah, I think having the group that is not zombified was a good group. I
mean, it kind of ended on a cliffhanger that's probably never going to be resolved, which I thought sucked, but, I guess season 2 will maybe address it, but it's hard to say.
Well, I guess the implication from the last episode is actually more maybe that it didn't work.
Yeah, maybe. But, yeah, that was good. I thought it was fun. Again, I think a majority of the characters here weren't voiced by the original actors, so kind of threw
was
me off
Vision
just a little
voiced
bit.
by Bettany?
Let me see. There's so many cast members. I have to fucking Control F Paul Bettany over here. He did. Paul Bettany did play him, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember being like, no, that one sounds like him.
Yeah, right. But yeah, that was pretty good. I liked that.
And I think Bruce is voiced by Ruffalo.
I don't think he is.
No? Then that was also a very good impersonator.
Oh, no, it is.
Okay.
It's really hard to tell, also, because this is another point, right? Acting in movies and voice acting are two entirely different ways of acting. So,
oh, yeah.
A lot of the I didn't think that it was actually Chadwick playing Black Panther until I had to look
I thought
up.
that was an impersonator.
Yeah, right, because it's just the way that you have to voice act. You have entirely different, like, cadence and expressions. It really seems different, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's not a knock on any of them, because they are primarily actors by trade, right? So they're not going to be amazing, like John DiMaggio's, you know? Yeah.
I remember being super surprised when I found that was actually Chadwick. Because I thought, especially because I thought it was, like, recorded later. So
right.
I was very shocked to find that out.
I think he did pretty good. I think he was better in other episodes. Like, it sounding a bit more like T'Challa.
Yeah, probably the last one.
Yeah, I'd say. Yeah, Zombies was alright.
Yeah.
Solid, I'd say. Number 6. What if Killmonger rescued Tony Stark?
This was, to me, the weakest one. Not that it was
No,
bad.
I really liked this one.
Not that it was bad. I still enjoyed it, but I don't know. I didn't get much impact from this one.
Well, I love Killmonger anyway. Like, as a villain, he's one of my favorite MCU villains.
Yeah.
Helps that he was portrayed by Michael B. Jordan.
Yes, that was him.
Yeah. So, I just thought it was really fun to see a villain from, like, later in the MCU, like, kind of go back to the start of it and see what they do there. Because the MCU, when it started, was an entirely different thing. Like, if you look at it now, it seems like an entirely different franchise, almost.
Yeah, like, so closely intertwining Tony Stark's origin story with Wakanda is a very different vibe.
Yeah, for sure. So I thought that was really interesting. Plus, just the way the episode turned out at the end, I thought was pretty neat. Again, bit of a cliffhanger, but it gets resolved later.
Yeah.
I can't decide whether episode 7 or episode 8 are my favorites, but we'll talk about episode 7 first. This
is Party Thor, right?
Yeah, what if Thor were an only child?
I like this episode a lot.
Tell you what happens, he doesn't have a beard.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have a beard in the first movie either.
Yeah, he does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
I'm almost positive he does not.
He definitely does.
Hold on. Looking this up.
He has a beard, but it's not, like, big beard. You know? Like, it's just skin level.
Okay,
it's also really blonde, and it kind of just blends in.
That's probably where my memory was being like, no, he doesn't.
Yeah, because, like, for whatever reason in that one movie, they decided every hair on your head will be blonde, including the eyebrows and the beard.
Well, it's like how in some movies they'll fill in certain actors' eyebrows, so all of a sudden in one movie Loki looks very different.
They all looked weird in that first one.
I think it was Ragnarok they filled in Loki's eyebrows, and everyone's like, why does he look different in this movie? And then someone figured it out, and it's like, oh, shit!
Did they really do that?
Yeah, go find a picture of Loki in Ragnarok. His eyebrows are super dark.
Oh my god, you're right.
And they did it to Doctor Strange in Far From Home. You can see it in the trailer.
Oh, I guess I'll see that more in the movie, but...
Yeah.
Ooh, okay.
But anyway, this episode's really good. And
for an only child, he becomes a party animal, and he has a big fucking awesome fight with Captain Marvel.
Yeah, that's a great premise, and it
One of my favorite things about this show is that it incorporates Captain Marvel a lot more, which I think is cool.
In these last few episodes, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, this one is just fun. Like, it's just really fun to watch, and Chris Hemsworth is being Chris Hemsworth in it, and that's just more than enough for me, so...
And a few of the episodes preceding this one ended on bad notes. So when this one ends on a good note, you're like, oh, okay. And then the Watcher's even... We haven't talked about the Watcher even.
I'm your guide through these vast realities.
He's like, oh, good, a happy ending. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, never mind.
Oh, no, because Ultron shows up, and he's inside Vision's body. And you're like... Well, what? Where did you come from? It just ends.
When that ending, when I first saw it, and the helmet comes up and it's Vision's face, I'm like, what? Like, I completely forgot the plot of Age of Ultron was that he made Vision to be his body. And so I'm like, wait, what?
How did you do that? How did that happen?
Vision became Ultron? I'm like, it's dumbass. That's the fucking what he was trying to do.
That's a very bad
and also, he has all 6 Infinity Stones.
Yeah. And then you go into that because episode 8 is What If Ultron won?
Which is a great idea.
It's either this or Party 4 that are my favorite episodes.
My favorite thing about this episode is like, okay, Ultron successfully makes Vision's body as his new body, that he's super strong, he kills all the Avengers except for 2 of them, and then he eradicates life on Earth. And then Thanos shows up like, oh, I'm here for the stone. And then he just fucking bisects him in a flash. And I think that's hilarious.
It's like, well, hold on. Why did you not do that in the Infinity War, first of all?
Well, Vision's not a psychopathic murderer.
Well, power scaling in the MCU is kind of shaky at best, so let's just ignore that and just say, in this universe, he just splits Thanos in half. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Ha 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 ha.
Yes.
But I love the character of Ultron anyway. I think the movie that he was in did him dirty, like, supremely.
Yeah, sure.
So, to see him get his, like, proper moment in this episode and then the next one was just peak for me. Super enjoyable.
Yeah, especially as that episode progresses and it's like, oh man, this would have been a real fucking problem and is now a real fucking problem.
And then you have Zola also come into the picture as well, which I thought was neat.
I thought that was really cool to bring him back for this.
Yeah, literally. So just the whole premise of this entire like scenario is super cool to me.
Mm-hmm.
It would have helped if it was James Spader, but you know, that's just gripes. That's just nitpicking for me.
I thought the voice actor they got did a good job.
Yeah, he did a good job, but like it's not the same, you know?
Well, sure, yeah.
Like you can have a really good pizza. But it's not the same pizza.
But you can have a really good pizza, but it's not James Spader.
Right, it's not James Spader's pizza that he made for you on that wonderful romantic evening.
It's just a pizza that happens to be somewhat resemblant of James Spader's head.
Right, yeah. And then the last one is gathering all of the aforementioned characters from the episodes and bringing them together to fight Ultron, because Ultron in the previous episode breaks the multiverse and basically dooms every single reality that you'll ever know.
Right, and...
So who do you get? You get Party 4, you get Captain Carter, you get Killmonger.
You get T'Challa Star-Lord.
Yeah. And then, oddly enough, they introduced a Gamora variant who killed Thanos and like took over Thanos' role.
Well,
but they didn't introduce that character at all.
No, and from what I gathered, it's not even that she took over Thanos' role. Like, she killed Thanos, destroyed the Infinity Stones, and I guess is now just like some warlord peacekeeper of some sort, but also Tony Stark is there?
Apparently this episode was meant to be in the first season, but it's been pushed back to the second season because of COVID, so...
Oh, okay. Because,
so
yeah,
we're gonna get that origin later, but for now it's just like, Gamora's here, and she is Thanos, I guess.
Yeah, Gamora's even cooler.
Yeah. So, that was a whole thing. I thought the fight scene, it was basically just a giant fight scene for a majority of the episode. I thought that was pretty neat.
I don't like it when people say... oh, they nerfed him for just no reason. And
it's
the
like
comments...
I say, power scaling in the MCU is really, really shoddy. Like, they do a really bad job at it.
Comments I've seen about this episode are annoying. Because everyone's like, so you mean to tell me that Ultron wiped out all life on Earth and then 6 fucking random people just beat him? It's like, were you not paying attention to the episode?
Did you just not watch it?
Like, were you not actually paying attention to what was going on?
Yeah, if you saw how they did it, it's entirely plausible.
Yeah. And they
you're
still
like
almost
they just gave him a
lost.
thing
Like,
to
what do you
poke a
want?
dude. Like, you're acting like they just walked up to him and just punched him, and he was like, oh no, I've been punched.
I never expected a punch.
But yeah, then they all go back to their universes, and you get a call back to previous episodes with Bat. And there's a sequel hook at the end of it. So
yeah,
we get season 2. Thought it was cool. So yeah, like you can tell from my feelings, I just have a lot of there's a lot of pluses, but there's a lot of negatives as well. I can't say that it's entirely a good show because it's not, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be. They've tried something new, and they've done an okay job at it. Hopefully, the second season will be better.
I think it is a good show.
Elaborate on that.
No. I don't have any issues with the animation style. I thought the facial expressions were fine. I thought the voice acting was good. I was expecting none of the voice actors, so having any was a big plus for me. And I thought every episode was interesting. I think for a first episode, doing the Peggy Carter thing was a great way to ease people into it. And then they got more buck wild as the series went on. Except for the Thor episode. The Thor episode, as much as I love it, and I'm not trying to say it was a bad episode, was easily the most tame episode of the second half of the show, as far as how weird does the premise get.
I still think it's really weird to see Loki as a frost giant, like,
sure, there's that,
and making him like a slingshot.
Sure, there's that, and bringing Captain Marvel in definitely changed the pace, but like, you look at some of the other later half episodes, like, what if Ultron had the Infinity Stones, and what if the entire MCU became a zombie apocalypse? And the one where Loki just doesn't get adopted is definitely the most tame one of those premises, in my opinion. But again, still a great episode. So yeah, I think having the like progression of wildness was really a good choice. And now Peggy's like, you know, the Tony Stark of this what if multiverse. So like if we go back to her later for another story with this hook that was in the credit scene, then like, yeah, that's cool. So yeah, I really don't have many complaints at all. I think the only episode that I wasn't like super fucking into was the Killmonger one, but again, that's still a good episode.
I think they missed a couple of like unique ones that they could have done. Like Spider-Man was not the focus of any of these episodes except for the zombie one.
Sure, but
There's
I think
so much stuff you could do with Spider-Man that's like really interesting and cool.
yeah, but that's the thing about a what if show. Like you can't do every idea, and they're doing a season 2, so there's plenty of shit they can still do.
Yeah, but you could have like bumped one of these to just the next season. You could have done Spider-Man now. Spider-Man's cool. We like Spider-Man.
Spider-Man is cool, but there are plenty of opportunities for Spider-Man. It's not like he wasn't in the show at all.
I mean, he was like barely. Like he's in
He
one
had a whole episode. What are you talking about?
He wasn't even the focus of that episode.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Who is the focus of that episode if not Spider-Man?
Zombies.
That is just not true.
It's called zombies.
The zombies are the premise, but they're not the focal character.
Yeah.
They're not one character.
Several.
Spider-Man is the protagonist of that episode. What are you talking about?
It's just zombies.
Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Just half an hour of zombies, that's all it was.
Yeah, there's no other characters in the episode except for a bunch of zombies.
No, show's terrible.
Yeah, it's the worst show ever made.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, I thought it was a great show, and I'm excited there's going to be more of it.
How do you rank it amongst the new MCU television?
I don't think I can, because, like I said, it's not part of the canon of the universe that we're paying attention to, right? I think it's cool that they're doing a story about these new universes that have been created, but I don't think I can rank it, because it's so different and not quite connected to the story we are still following.
Well, that's the thing with Loki, is that it opened up a whole can of worms, and that now it's a multiverse. So
Right.
there really is... there was one story in one universe before Loki. But now, it can be anything.
But I think what we're going
It's a
to
genius 4D chess move, if you really think about it, because they can just say any former Marvel movie that wasn't in the MCU, it now can be, because it's an alternate universe.
Sure, but what I mean
What
is
if
that
Captain America was Johnny Storm?
what I mean is that I think going forward in the MCU, we're going to follow the same characters from the universe we've been following, but
We call it the sacred timeline on the forums
I guess.
Differentiate it. So yeah, sacred timeline.
I think we're going to be following those same characters as they explore the multiverse. We're going to end up in different universes. I mean, look at fucking Far From Home. But
Look at the end of Loki.
yeah, it's going to be those same characters, though. Whereas these episodes are not the characters we've been following at all.
If you could take any character from these episodes and put them into like real world action, who would it be? And why would it be Captain Carter?
I think it might be, but I think that's only because
as much as the original episode was just beat for beat the same origin story, like that character is pretty cool and has like room to be in the live action MCU movies. Because Hayley Atwell is just a great actress anyway, so
yeah, and plus with the way her show went and is no longer canon, that's always a bit of a shame.
Oh, don't say that! You'll open up a can of worms.
It's been like said by Feige that none of those other shows were canon, right?
Yeah, but don't tell it to the fans of the show, because they'll come at you with pitchforks and torches.
Sure, I guess. I had never watched it, to be fair,
So
but
actually, if you look at this interview, you can clearly say that they think it is canon, even though it's not.
there's this thing called retconning where anything that's been said before the most recent thing that's been said doesn't count anymore. So the most recent thing that's been
horseshit.
the most recent thing that's been said is that the show wasn't canon, and I'm sorry if you love the show and wish it was, but it's just not.
Sorry to all you Daredevil fans.
Yeah, that one sucks, because those shows are good, and I wish they were fucking canon.
I never got round to them, so I've not lost anything.
Even though
They're still there, they still exist, and I fucking know it's for Punisher. I fucking know it's for Punisher. Leave me alone.
He's so good in it, too.
I fucking know that he's good. Let me get to it in my own time.
It won't
It'll take years. It will take fucking years, but it will happen, okay?
It won't.
Shut up.
It's been years already.
You're doing that thing where you're like, ooh, bet. I'm like, oh, alright. I'll go watch it after the episode then.
You have not done that once, so...
Yeah, but it's how you escalate things.
Listen, I have not... You're the one that brought the show up. I have not talked to you about watching the show in years, so don't try to frame this on me.
I'll start watching Punisher and Daredevil and shit when you finish Twin Peaks.
Sure, yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
Oh yeah, so MCU television, because this is a whole big thing anyway, what with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all that stuff. It's really hard to say if it is or isn't canon, but that's not even the point. The point is, what would you say is like the best MCU like television endeavor?
That's really tough, because...
For me, I think it's Loki.
Listen,
closely followed by WandaVision, because I know WandaVision is so groundbreaking, and the way they presented it was entirely different from anything we've ever seen before. But in terms of like the grand scale of the MCU, the ending of Loki literally changes the entire course of it forever. There's no going back from that.
You've seen that breakdown of how the ending of Loki and the ending of WandaVision are simultaneous, right?
Yeah, I've seen the TikTok clips of them cinching up the things, and I'm like, is that really it, though? Is that really what happened? Because I don't think it is.
I mean...
That's not how I interpret it.
If anything, I think the closest we get to that, right, is that the ending of Loki opened up the possibility of branching timelines, and what happened in WandaVision branched a timeline.
Yeah.
I think that's more what it is. It's not that Wanda created the multiverse by herself.
No.
But I think she branched probably more than one timeline by doing that.
100%. The way that I see it happening is that ending of Loki, where you see outside the window all of the timelines branching out, it basically makes it so that time isn't really a thing anymore, you know? Like, yeah, all of these universes have their own, like, straight timelines, but they are all occurring both at the same time and not at all, from certain perspectives.
You're losing me a little bit there.
So, say for example, like, they go to the Citadel at the end of time, right?
Yeah.
Where is that in the timeline? It isn't. It's off the timeline.
Yeah, that's outside of it, yeah.
Right, so everything that happens there, including when Sylvie kills Kang and creates the multiverse, that isn't a point that you can put in the MCU as a timeline thing.
Oh yeah, I get what you're saying.
If you see what I'm saying? You can't say that it happened when Wanda created all the sigils on the fucking sky and shit, because for all intents and purposes, it already happened. But it didn't happen yet. Because it doesn't exist in time.
I just think that thunder sound that we have to sync up the points was really just an indicator that what she did takes place after the multiverse is now a possibility. Because there has to be some semblance of time involved, because there has to be a before and after he's dead, right?
But that's the thing, it doesn't take place in a timeline, so how can you
But there has to, just by nature of the way things work, there has to be some semblance of time for a before and after. I don't know how it works, I'm not a fucking scientist, but there has to be. Otherwise, nothing makes sense ever.
Fucking Marvel is gonna make people try and look up theoretical physics and shit just to try and understand their plot lines. Like, what?
I think literally that's what the thunder was there to indicate, is that
thunder schmunder, it's all relative.
That is the point of what I'm saying, is that it's not.
Yeah, it's all relative.
Because otherwise it could be anything. It could be, I mean, now... Alright. What I'm saying is any past event could now create a branch, because that aspect of the Citadels outside of the timeline is for sure. But all it is to indicate is that the ending of WandaVision is a moment that happens after Kang is dead.
But what if
Because
it's before?
there cannot be a branch in the timeline before he's dead. That's what I'm saying. There has to be some measurement.
Then what about WandaVision is a branch in the timeline?
I don't know
Is it
what.
her becoming the Scarlet Witch?
And looking into the multiverse because of the credit scene. Like, that's what I'm saying. There has to be a before and after he's dead.
No, I think, like, when it happens in Loki, like, it just happens. Like, suddenly a
Don't know
switch
what
is
that
on.
means.
A switch has been turned on in every single timeline to make it accessible.
That's what I'm saying.
I don't understand what you're saying.
There is a before the multiverse is a possibility and an after. What we saw in WandaVision happens after.
Oh, my head fucking hurts. I don't like this.
We're saying the
anymore.
same thing.
What is the fucking best MCU television show was a question.
I don't think... It's hard to compare them because they all bring something so different to the table. And nobody talks about Falcon and Winter Soldier after Loki came out. But that show's fucking great.
Buddy cop, like, villain sucks, but yeah.
I don't know about sucks. It left something to be desired, but... Alright.
I hate the Flag Smashers. They're all shitlords. I really don't like them.
Okay, sure. Having Sam as Cap now is the best. It's the fucking best.
Yeah. Can't wait for the movie.
Loki brings a totally different element than what WandaVision or Falcon and Winter Soldier brought. And it's very hard to compare them. I don't think I have a favorite.
Well, here's my ranking, and here's the number one.
Here's my objective ranking.
You cannot disagree, because we have the same mind.
And I'm just objectively correct.
Created at the same time, both in and out of time.
Yes, this happens after the timeline branch. That way there's a multiverse where every show is ranked number one and last.
In a way, that's kind of true, because someone will have, like, your bottom show as their number one show, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Every show is number one to somebody.
Yep. What If is number one to somebody?
Nah.
No.
I couldn't see that. I couldn't agree with that at all.
Hawkeye will end up being someone's favorite show, though.
I cannot wait for Hawkeye.
Yes.
Because
I'm
I
very
love
excited.
Hawkeye anyway, and because, is she Black Widow now, technically? She's a widow. Yelena?
Who? Oh,
Yelena. What do you call her? What's
I don't
her
know.
hero name?
I don't know anything about her in the comics, so I don't know if she has like a different name or if she's like, oh, it's White Widow.
Why?
Yelena.
No, it's just Black Widow is like the title.
Belova.
Like, it's like any superhero name, like Spider-Man, like multiple people have had the Widow name, so...
Notable aliases. White Widow. Crimson
White
Widow.
Crimson...
Super
Coloring them now?
Adaptoid. Alright, so here they are. White Widow, Crimson Widow, Super Adaptoid, Pale Little Spider, and Raskaya.
Pale Little Widow, what the fuck?
Pale Little Spider. It's different.
Yeah. Oh. That's so dumb. Yeah, I think she's just somebody called Black Widow, and if she's not, then whatever. Widow.
Then I'm not watching the MCU anymore.
Maybe I'll boycott her.
So anyway, what's your fucking objective ranking?
Loki number 1, WandaVision number 2, Falcon Winter Soldier number 3, What If number 4. What? Why do you say that?
Nothing, I'm kidding.
Why do you do what you do?
I'm joking!
It's not funny.
I didn't laugh.
I didn't laugh at first. It's not funny.
Yeah, I think
Just
the
for
Marvel
all different reasons, all different things. You know me, like, if you ask me tomorrow, it's probably going to be different. I'm probably going to say WandaVision's better, like...
I didn't like WandaVision because the animation was bad.
Wasn't there a bit where they forgot to colour in Paul Bettany?
I don't think so.
Like, one of his hands is just skin,
Oh, if so, I never caught that or saw that. I don't know.
It might have been in one of the promos or something, but yeah, you can literally see that like they just forgot to paint him properly. So
That's hilarious.
the red just stops at one point. But
and with that, I think this will be a good spot to take a break, and when we come back, we will talk about Squid Game.
the Squid Game.
So, here's our next game. It's an ad break. If you don't listen to it, you get shot in the head.
Sorry!
If you have one of your crazy house party things, shot me a holler down.
What is that?
Oh, hello.
Hi, what is that?
It's Bad Boys for Life music video.
Oh.
Basically, it's like a when music video had stories. It's P Diddy moving into the neighborhood, and then Ben Stiller is his neighbor.
Oh my god.
And so then P Diddy like shoots a golf ball through his window, and then he comes up to P Diddy's house. He's like, "Hello, Puff Daddy, P Diddy Dad, P Daddy Dad, P Puff Daddy.
P Daddy.
Whatever you're calling yourself, I'm Ben Stiller."
Nice to meet you.
Why do all of my impressions boil down to me just saying I am this person in a different voice?
So you can establish characters.
He just walks in like, "Hello, I'm Ben Stiller. This is Night at the Museum."
Welcome to my
So
museum
bad.
at night, P Diddy, Daddy.
I'm not funny. Why do you laugh?
Because it is funny.
It's because I'm not funny? Is that why you laugh?
I'm
I'm so unfunny that it comes back round to being funny?
Look
I
at
think
this
that's
man
what it is.
attempting to be funny and failing.
It's funny.
Alright. Hey, give me your bag of marbles. I'll hold on to it and keep it safe. Do you trust
I
me?
don't trust you at all, no matter how big your penis is.
Oh! That's not where I was expecting this to
No,
go.
it's the thing going around on Twitter is that that character has a massive dick.
I have not seen that.
He just has a huge penis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did not know about this. So yeah.
So welcome
if-
to Squid Game, the show with the man who has a huge penis.
That's what it's about. So
His
if you
penis
haven't
is for squid all along.
if you haven't seen Squid Game, obviously we're going to spoil a lot about it right now, but it's about
Well, let's set the stage here. This is a cultural fucking phenomenon. It's really massive right now.
yes, it has taken off tremendously.
Within a week of its release, because it's very recently released. It only came out like pretty much last month, of middle of September.
Yeah.
It's got 111 million viewers, and it's now Netflix's most watched television show
Like ever or right now?
ever.
Wow, really?
It used to be Bridgerton before this, but
don't
period
even know what that
dramas
is.
suck. Oh, I said it.
I don't even know what that show is.
You don't need to know. It's for basic white people. But
Alright.
yeah, it's a real big fucking deal. It is a Korean survival drama television series.
It's a death game show. So basically, the people running the Squid Games, or whatever they're called, because that's not actually what the sequence of games is called, is it? But they find a bunch of people who need money, whether they're in debt, they're just broke, whatever. Most of them are in debt.
There's about 400, what's the number? 456?
Yeah,
players?
because Ki-hun's the last one.
Yeah.
456 people that are in dire need of money, and they recruit them by essentially fucking with them. They play this game, and since most of them are gambling addicts, no matter how much they lose, the prospect of being able to win some money if they do win gets them to keep playing. And every time they lose, instead of losing money, they just get slapped in the face. So it's like, oh shit, I'm not losing money by losing, but I can still win money if I win. Sign me the fuck up. And they'll just get slapped forever until they eventually win. And then the guy gives them a business card like, hey, if you want another opportunity to win money, give me a call. And then they get recruited to the fucking death games. I don't think, should we run down the episodes like we did with What If?
Yeah, let's just establish it a little bit more. So, the main themes of the show are about the class, the big gap between the classes in South Korea, which is...
It's a big problem.
As we mentioned before when we were talking about Parasite during the movie tournament, it's a big story that's going on in Korea right now. Apparently this was shopped around for like 10 years before it actually got picked up by anybody.
Yeah, which is surprising seeing how massive it's become.
Yeah, it's one guy made it, Hwang Dong-hyuk, who's pretty much, he did all of this himself. He wrote everything, he directed everything, it was all his big thing. Yeah, it's really hard to fathom, like, some of the amounts of money in this show, because the main prize is 45.6 billion won.
I'm gonna do. I looked it up before.
I looked it up for you now. It is approximately $38 million.
Yeah, I was just gonna do the $1 to one thing, but I think it's like about 3,000 won to $1 or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And
so
for those in the Great United Kingdom, let me just scroll back up to G for Great British Pound. Oh, it's not there. What the fuck? Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
it should be about 5,000 if I was right about the 3,000.
28 million pounds. So.
Oh, again, I was thinking one, but
Currency conversion is a crazy thing. But, yeah, you have the main character, Gi-hun, who is a chauffeur/gambling addict, lives with his mother, has a daughter from a broken marriage, financially struggling, in, like, millions of debt, to debt collectors and the bank and various others. He's the main character. He's our happy-go-lucky kind of, like, down-on-his-luck hero.
To use a term we used earlier in the episode, a lovable loser.
Lovable loser, yeah. He's a little bit scummy around the edges, but at heart, he's a good person. And you see that as early as the first episode, so it's good at establishing that.
Yeah.
And then you have the main rival, I suppose, of the show, Sang-woo.
Although he's not initially framed as a rival.
No, he's childhood friends with Gi-hun. Younger than him, I believe Gi-hun was like the one who took him to school and stuff, and he basically graduated from Seoul University, became like a really big financial guy. But
he's
then,
the
course,
success story of their neighborhood.
He's in debt now because of various reasons. So,
Yes.
yeah, he's the antithesis of the main character, I'd say. The Dio to the Jonathan, you know? If you want to compare it in that sense.
Yeah, I guess.
And then you have this side story of this police officer detective, Jun-ho.
Yeah.
Who is probably my favorite character. He's in the Squid Game, like, looking for his brother, who's gone missing.
The first episode ends with, after they've played the first game, which is the now famous on
they all get
TikTok,
rounded
red light,
up
green
and
light.
everything, and they play the one we've all seen, the red light, green light, with the big creepy doll, who is apparently a figure in textbooks in South Korea.
Yeah, apparently like a common character for Korean children, but
Like Mickey Mouse.
So they play this game and realize how high the stakes are. And
There's like, what, 200 people or something die in that first game?
Yeah,
They all
like
just
almost
get
half
shot
of
to
them.
shit?
Almost half of them get eliminated and killed.
It's chaos. I love that this is how the story is structured, by the way, because you'd think it would be like, first episode you spend establishing why the characters are there, and the lengths that they'll go to. But no, like, it's actually pretty quick to the draw of, you're in the Squid Game, but then they hold a vote, because there's a clause in it where at any point, the majority of the players decide to quit, the game will stop, and they can all go. So,
right.
They get to that point where they win by a margin of 1 vote, and they all get put out back into where they were before, and it's shit.
Right, their lives
It's really
are
fucking
hell.
bad. Yeah, it's almost as if going to this death game is probably just as bad as living life anyway.
It's one of those like really morbid situations, right? Where like their lives are so bad that they want to go back to the Squid Games because it's either A, they win and get all this money that could fix their lives, or B, they die and it's not a problem anymore.
There was a term for this in Parasite, I think. There was a name for Hell Joseon, which is how living in hell would be exactly like living in South Korea.
Yeah, and I think that episode's even called Hell.
It is, yeah.
So they decide to go back, and while they're back home, Gi-hun talks to the police about trying to, report this fucking thing that's going on. But of course, the story's so
really
wild,
funny scene.
and he has no evidence that no one believes him.
So let me get this straight. You were taken to a random place by random people. You don't know where it is. You don't know who they are. You don't know how you got back. And you want us to try and investigate it. He's like, yeah.
And not only that, you signed up to go.
Yeah. People died. Help.
Right. One detective, Ji-hun, overhears this, and it kind of catches his attention because his brother has recently gone missing. And it sounds like something that might be worth investigating, especially when he's in his brother's room and finds the business card that Ji-hun had. Well, not the same one, but the same kind.
It has 3 symbols on it. It has the triangle, the square, and the circle, which, for the longest time, I just cannot disassociate from PlayStation.
If there was an X
it's like they've been
yeah.
invited by Sony to this weird conference without the X.
That's the next Sony.
No, the reason why
that's how they announced the PS6.
Yeah, literally. The reason why it's both shape is because when you take both shapes and you put them on the ground, it forms the squid, which is the game, the Squid Game.
The first episode starts with an explanation of this Korean game called the Squid Game, where you set up this field using these shapes, and it kind of resembles the head of a squid.
Yeah. Gi-hun and Sang-woo play it as kids.
Yeah. So
yeah, Jung-ho goes into the thing in secret. He poses as one of the many guards. We've all seen them. They're red jumpsuits, and they have one of the symbols on their face.
No, they're pink!
Seen it? What?
You haven't seen this huge discourse over whether those guards are red or pink?
They're red.
I believe so, but there's a lot of pink discourse.
Do people not see colors with their eyeballs anymore?
To be fair, there's a lot of lighting changes in many scenes of the show where I get you could maybe see them as pink, but they're not.
They're a light shade of red.
Okay, to be fair, that's what is called pink.
What do you want, man? Like, they're on the color spectrum of red and pink. They're in that corner of it.
Right, but which one is
it? They're fucking red, bro. Look at it. Do you not watch the show?
I'm not even disagreeing with you, but you're getting mad at me.
They're dark pink, they're light red. I'm not mad at you, I'm mad at everyone else.
To be fair, in some of these pictures, I can absolutely see how they would look pink.
But they're red.
It's down to the lighting of the scene.
So, okay, what is the answer then?
I don't know, because every scene's lit differently. So in some scenes they look red, some scenes they look pink. I don't personally care, but there's a lot of argument about it online.
Let's go through and analyze each scene to see how much screen time in seconds it shows them as red.
Yeah, which one has the majority?
It's clearly red.
I don't know. Anyway, he poses as one of these guards.
I'm gonna punch you one of these days, just like, not even for your own fault, just me being annoyed at things that we're talking about.
Are the guards pink or red?
Other important characters. We have leading female, Sae-byuk, who is a North Korean defector.
Yes.
Who's looking for one of the parents, at least. I think one of them died.
One died, the other got left behind in North Korea.
Yes, or they were found in China and sent back to North Korea, so they are entering the game so that they can pay detectives to find them in North Korea, because they have a little brother in a children's home who they want to bring home the parent to, so...
Yes.
Yes.
And there's Ali.
Ali, yes, Abdul Ali. Or Ali Abdul, whichever way you want to do it.
Best boy.
He's from Pakistan, who has a young family. His employer basically didn't pay him, so he has no money, which is bad. Very poor. The old man.
Player 1.
Player 1, 001. Old man with a brain tumor who's playing the game because he doesn't want to die in a normal outside world kind of way.
He wants to have some fun.
Have some fun playing childhood games.
And boy does he.
Mm-hmm.
Every game they play, no matter who's being murdered right in front of him, he's always smiling and playing the game. Like, oh, it's just like when I was a kid.
Yeah, because he has implied that he has, like, dementia or Alzheimer's or some kind of cognitive
Yeah,
disease.
there's conversations where they ask him his name, he can't remember it. He'll just like his conversations will drift off into like a totally different topic, and everyone's like, "What are you talking about?" There's
Like,
a
the
scene
further on you get in the series, the worse it gets.
yeah, there's a scene in, around halfway through where he pees his pants on accident.
Yeah. Although I think anyone would in that scenario, to be fair.
True, but he was also like passing out, so
Elderly and infirm, yeah.
yeah.
Other character is one of the major antagonists of the show, Duck Sue, who is
Fuck Duck
like
Soup.
a mafia gangster, who has gambling debts, very violent. Got a little snake tattoo coming up under his chin.
Leader of the bad guy squad.
Yeah, there's a bad guy squad. He basically forms a little mafia inside the Squid Game with his followers. So
Yeah.
and then you got Minyo, who is a crazy fucking batshit woman.
She's great.
We don't even know what her origin story really is because she just lies about everything.
Right, she is the Loki of Squid Game.
Pretty much, mostly in line with the villainous squad, but occasionally we'll do like tasks with the hero squad.
Yeah.
Hero squad, of course, being Gihan, Sungwoo,
Ali,
Sabyok, Old Man,
and
and
the old man.
Ali. Yeah. And there's a couple of supporting characters who are all there. Another young woman. Oh, I forget the name.
She only shows up for one episode, to be fair.
She's in like 2, I think.
Oh, 2, yeah, 2.
Ji Young, yeah, she's another female. Then there's the doctor who's in collusion with these corrupt guards who are basically harvesting organs of all the dead participants.
Oh, and we have yet to mention the front man.
The front man.
Who, for a good portion of the show, in the first half, is framed to be the orchestrator of all this, but...
The front man. He calls himself the front man. He talks in English on the phone, and he's like, "This is the front man.
I am the front man, hello."
He wears like a weird mask, because obviously you have all the masks with the symbols on. His mask reminds me of that rejected PS1 mascot?
No?
Yeah, like the really weird, like, polygonal face. Polygon Man.
He looks like Andros from Star Fox.
Google Polygon Man. You'll see what I mean. His mask basically looks the same as that.
Let's see. Polygon Man. Oh, without the spikes, yeah.
Yeah, literally. It's just polygonal, like, face mask kind of guy.
Why was this an attempted mascot?
Because they didn't know what they were doing.
This is terrible looking. Anyway, Frontman
Yeah.
looks better than that. Yeah, for the first half of the show, I'd say he's framed to be sort of the orchestrator, but we later learn he's nowhere close to the orchestrator of this. He's just running the guards, I suppose. And then we meet the VIPs, and they suck ass.
Now, this is the weird thing. Is that basically in the back half of the show, you get these VIPs who are what you think they are. They're just rich American white businessmen who are here to watch the death games because that's their idea of fun.
This is how they entertain themselves.
Yeah, it's weird though, because I can only describe their acting style as Uncanny Valley.
They're very strange, and I've heard that, I think, this is just a rumor I heard, I don't know if it's confirmed, but someone was saying that the director did this intentionally because...
Apparently this is just how a lot of Americans are portrayed in Korean media.
Well, the thing I heard was that in American media, they feel like Koreans are portrayed very awkwardly and not accurately, and so he wanted to kind of like flip the tables on Americans with these characters.
Yeah.
Again,
it's
I don't
really
know
hard
if that's
to
true,
like
but...
describe how they talk and perform, but it's like they learned all of their lines phonetically instead of just speaking like normal English.
Right, like the way we're talking to each other right now is far from how they fucking speak to each other.
No, yeah, they literally sound like they're reading off a teleprompter and they don't know how to speak English, but they absolutely do. Because they're
Who do you think is going to win? I have my number on 69 because it's
yeah.
69.
Yeah, that's literally how they talk. It's so weird.
It's fucking odd.
Apparently most of them were like Australian actors who were just living in Korea, which apparently is very common, so...
Oh, so having to put on an American accent might not have been their forte to begin with.
Well, one of them didn't even sound American. Like, one of the characters sounded like they were German or something, like European, like weird sounding.
I don't remember. I mean, it's implied the VIPs come from all over because one of them speaks like Mandarin or something.
Yeah, something like that. So, but yeah, they wear all these weird like furry masks, which I thought was fucking dumb.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're like these jewel encrusted animal masks, which are like, okay, I get we're doing like anonymity.
They're highly like impractical. You can't even see out of them. Like they're just
the one with the
looking.
like giant antlers is like, come on, what the fuck are we doing?
Like, do you? I get the point is that they're meant to look like dickheads, but like,
And I
even
get it's
in
like
that universe, they're like, are you sure that you think this looks good?
I think the idea is
sure
just
you
to
don't
like.
look like a dickhead.
I think the idea is just to drive how overly opulent they all are.
By looking ridiculous.
Yeah.
To be fair, yeah.
Cool. So
No, hang on. Looking at the casting list, I just had
Oh.
a fucking freak out moment because there's an actor in it called Chris Chan.
Oh dear God. Well, we know it's not the same person, but
No, he's a Filipino man who portrayed one of the evil mafia men.
could you imagine if there was a fucking scene like they're doing the like glass bridge and he's at the front and he's like, I don't know which one to pick. It's like, just fucking jump on one. I'm working on it.
Sorry, true. Which one do I pick? I
Anyway.
hate these Koreans.
Oh my God.
That's what he would fucking say.
It is. Anyway, so yeah, and then the show progresses, and we get less and less participants as they all die throughout the games, and we get down to 3, and then we get down to 2, and then we get down to 1. And
Free
I mean,
guesses
do we
who
want to
the
just
surviving
say?
one is?
Do we want to just? I mean, okay, it's probably pretty fucking obvious.
Well,
Gi-hun's the
Gi-hun
survivor.
wins. Gi-hun wins the whole game.
Yeah. It comes
And,
down to him and Sung-woo, who by the end of the games is just a fucking maniac.
Yeah, he basically betrayed all of the friends that they had in the team, like actively murdering people so that he will win. Like, he has
Yeah.
like a dark, slippery descent by the end of it. Like, my favorite thing is just the final episode starts with them, like, almost like Devil May Cry 3, like, shirtless in the rain, fucking beating the shit out of each other,
Yeah, it's
playing
a
Squid
really,
Game.
it's a really good like climactic thing.
Yeah, but that's
Um,
only like in the first 10 minutes, because Gi-hun wins in the first 10 minutes, gets put back into the world, and like, there's like 50 minutes of the episode left, and I'm like, where do we fucking go from here?
Right. We establish he has this money in an account now, and then we
Yeah.
flash forward a year. And
Oh, because his mom died.
yes, his mom died, and then we flash forward.
So all of his money that he was getting to, like, provide for his mom is just, like, pointless now, because mom
Yeah,
died while he was in the games.
He had two main goals: to provide for his mom, who we learn in the first episode is diabetic. Is that what it was?
Yeah, it was diabetic, and her feet were all fucked up, so they needed surgery, but they couldn't afford surgery, so they just walked out. It was like,
Right.
no, you need surgery, and she's like, with what money?
Right. So there was that goal, and then also like reestablishing a relationship with his daughter, who was moving to America.
With a new family.
With the stepdad and the mom. So he comes back from the games the winner, but all of that's gone. So there's this sense of like it was kind of for nothing. And then we flash forward a year, and he's not touched the money. He's not using it. He's still living the same almost homeless life he was living before he ever played. And then he gets a note from... We did not talk about the old man dying.
Yeah, the old man basically was like Gi-hun's like one of his solid like friendships in that group. Like almost he was like his caretaker because he was
Because
just
no
getting
one
more and
else
more
ever
senile.
wanted to associate with the old man. Every game, when they had to partner up with somebody or make a team, everyone was always saying, we need big, strong guys, no girls, no old men.
Even
Gi-hun
though
was
there was
the...
only one old man.
Right. But they were basically singling him out as a weak link. And then Gi-hun was always the one that, sometimes reluctantly, but he would always partner up with the old man. And
Because up until this point, like, we should just give a brief summary of the games. Game 1 is red light, green light, or single player. You get to the end before you die.
game 2 is the honeycomb.
The second game has the honeycomb thing, which has, like, become a thing where it's, like, filters now. Where it's, like, cut the shape out of the honeycomb with the thing.
Right. For anyone who somehow doesn't know what it is, it's you take some melted sugar, you press it into a disc, and then before it hardens, you cut, not all the way through, but you cut a shape into it. And then as it hardens, it becomes more fragile. And there's a game in Korean culture where vendors will sell these things, but they sometimes say if you can cut the shape out without breaking it, you can have it for free. So the game is to cut the shape out of the thing without breaking it, which is very difficult.
So
Especially
some of the
because they
shapes
have
are
time
easy
limits.
because you have square, circle, star, umbrella.
You have a triangle, a circle, a star, and then an umbrella.
Fucking umbrella. That's one that, like, guess most people shine the head is if they just fuck up and break, like, the umbrella handle because it's so thin.
Right.
But, yeah, that happened. The third game was Tug of War.
Yes.
Super interesting.
That one was like the most anime episode because it was like so hype.
Yeah, because they're both on like two raised platforms. The rope is in a guillotine in the middle. You have to basically pull the rope so that the other team falls down, and then the guillotine cuts the rope, and they just fall and become like pancakes. So
Yep.
a lot of Gi-hun's team was women and the old man, but his technique allowed them to basically score the victory. So
Yes.
they did that, and then the fourth game
I don't remember which one the fourth one is.
was the marbles.
Oh yeah. So they get told to partner up, find a partner, and then they get brought into this area that looks like a Korean suburb neighborhood. And they get given a bag of 10 marbles each. And then the announcer says, play against your partner, loser gets killed. And
Right.
Gi-hun is
So
paired
everyone's
up with the
like
old
paired
man.
up with their partner, their friends, their spouse, like
Yeah,
maybe
there's a
someone who
married
you
couple
don't want
that's
to
like
die.
there's a married couple that's occasionally in some of these episodes, and we see them sometimes, and they're of course partnered up for this. And as soon as you hear that announcer, it's just like, oh fuck.
Oh no. But then you immediately figure out which character's gonna die, because you just know.
I was hoping
So-
Ali was gonna survive that one, but
Oh no, that was brutal, because Sang-woo pairs up with him and is like, we're gonna do this, buddy. It's just emotionally, like, manipulating the shit out of him, and then he just, like, steals his marbles, and then Ali gets shot in the face.
well, so that there's a great dynamic in this episode specifically. This episode's absolutely the turning point for Sungwoo because
Episode
He-
6.
he
That's
starts
that's
it.
the meme. Everyone's like, "Oh, episode 6, a fucking Squid Game. I'm ruined. My whole life is over."
It's a
This is so
tough
sad.
one. It's a rough episode. But Sungwoo starts this marble game. Ali's like terrified. It's like, I don't want to have to kill you. Like, this sucks. And Sungwoo's agreeing, like, yeah, it does suck. But let's just play and see how it goes. And Ali is whooping his ass. And it's at that point where Sungwoo's almost lost all of his marbles that he starts freaking out. And he gets angry, he shoves him into a wall. And then he says, okay, hold on. We can figure out a way that we can both get out of this. And this is, of course, he's just making this shit up. And he tricks Ali into leaving his bag of marbles behind. No, he takes his, but not after handing them to Sungwoo. And Sungwoo does a little fucking Indiana Jones swap with a bag of rocks. And so Ali goes off to look for other pairs that are still playing. And Sungwoo takes all of Ali's marbles and gives them to the guard and technically wins that way. And it's the biggest dick move in the show until episode 8. But then, of course, we have Gi-hun playing against the old man, and his deliria is getting much worse, and he's not even playing.
He's just obsessed with finding his house, which
right, because
he thinks he's in the neighborhood, but it's just an entire like simulation. So
the girls have paired up, and they have decided they're not even going to play until the last minute of the time, and they're just having a conversation with each other about their lives outside of this game.
Fucking heartbreaking character development.
Yep, we learned that, I forgot their names. I'm not good at remembering the names.
Who?
Both of them.
Saebyuk and let me scroll here. Ji-young.
Saebyuk explains her dynamic, which we've talked about. Her mom's in North Korea, her brother is in a children's home. She needs the money to help them out. And Ji-yeon is just like, oh, I don't really got shit going on. And then when they finally do decide to play at the very end, it's like, all right, all or nothing. We'll play one thing real quick, and winner takes all the marbles. And she throws the game because she doesn't have anything to go save or live for, but Sabyuk does. So that was fucking ripped my heart out of my chest. Mm-hmm. And then you get Ji-hun playing with the old man, and god damn it, he's about to lose, just like with Ali and Sungwoo. And then on the last round, he's technically lost, but the old man doesn't remember the rules, and he doesn't remember what he said. And Gi-hun takes advantage of it. Is it Gi-hun or Ji-hun? I keep switching.
Gi-hun, I think.
Gi-hun. He takes advantage of that and starts, turning the tide of the game and taking all the old man's marbles by cheating. And then the old man reveals, I knew you were cheating, but take it. I had my fun. Go live. That also is heartbreaking.
And then he remembers his name.
Yes, Il-nam.
Oh, Il-nam, yeah. You hear a gunshot, and then it's assumed that he gets shot in the fucking head.
Right. Oh, and in that, at the beginning of it, before they realized they had to play against each other, they made a little bond and call each other Gumbu. Is that what it is?
Yeah, Gumbu. Yeah.
Gumbu, which is basically just a term for like your friend in the neighborhood that you play marbles with.
Trusted partner.
Yes. So, you get that whole like, don't worry about it, we're Gumbu, and then it gets shot. So back to the ending of the show. Gi-hun is now back in the city where he lives, and he gets this note from your Gumbu. Come meet me in this place at this time. Gi-hun immediately freaks out.
Oh, we should mention the detective guy who infiltrated the game.
Oh yeah, we didn't talk about this.
Yeah, this is my favorite thing, because he's just fucking like Leon Kennedy, just going around and like trying to figure out shit. He figures out that the Squid Games have been going on for like decades, like years and years and years. Mm-hmm. And that his missing brother won in 2015.
Yes.
So it's like, oh, what the fuck? And then,
so then where is he?
Yeah, so they all get to going with that, and he eventually finds out that the front man, the guy who's supposedly organizing all of this, is his brother all along.
Oh my god!
And he shoots him, and he falls into the sea and probably dies. That's another thing that I didn't like about this, is that you don't really see this detective guy, like, actually die.
I'm pretty sure.
He's like on the edge of a cliff, you get shot in the shoulder, and then he just falls over.
Yeah, we don't see him dead. I'm pretty sure he's alive. But yeah, there's the reveal that the front man was the brother. And he's still alive for sure, even though he got shot in the arm. We see him alive. And I would be more curious to like find out what the fuck, with that. Because, okay, he won a Squid Game. How do you go from that to being the front man, right?
Yeah, that was never explained.
Which... we're not done talking about what happened in the show yet, but I definitely have a couple minor complaints about the show in general, and that is one of them.
Yeah, me too.
So back to how it's going to end here. He gets this letter from your Gumbu, and when he meets up, it is the old man. Oh my god, he's still alive! And the old man explains, I'm filthy, stinking, fucking disgusting rich, and...
Enough to run these Squid Games for 30 years, or however long it was. Like
right,
decades.
And it's not just him, it's all the VIPs, but he's one of them. And they do this for shits and giggles, and it's literally just to have fun. It's like betting on a horse race, they compare it to. And they make one last little bet as they watch this homeless man outside the window in the winter. And they say, what do you want to bet that... nobody helps him before the clock strikes midnight, and Gi-hun takes the side that someone will help him. And as they're waiting for the clock to hit midnight, watching this old man, the homeless man, the old man explains basically the whole thing of like, yeah, we just did it for fun. Don't
the
feel
whole
guilty.
like structure of it was based on his childhood.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, the neighborhood looking like his neighborhood was not a coincidence. All the games that they played were not a coincidence. And normally, he does just spectate, but he decided this time to play it because he wanted to have some fun. So,
yeah.
Then the clock strikes midnight, not before somebody does indeed help the homeless man. And as Gi-hun turns around to say, hey, you see that? You lost. The old man's dead.
He died.
And
Presumably
so,
he realizes that he lost that bet, but we don't know.
I mean, I don't know what to make of that. It's just like...
It's ambiguous. It's for you to decide.
So then Gi-hun's like, oh, okay. I'll go get a haircut and dye my hair red. And...
Yeah, what the fuck?
I don't know.
That really came out of nowhere. Like, he literally... Like, it looks like blood rain now, and it's super weird.
Yeah, it's like, okay, I get freshening up because he looked homeless, but
Right,
why dye your
then-
hair red? Maybe there's
I-
some, like, Korean culture symbolism we're not getting there.
Maybe it's just a good look.
I don't know. It was alright. And then he's on his way to fly to America to meet his daughter, and he catches somebody running into that same trap that he fell for in episode 1 with the slapping, and he confronts him and says, hey, don't you dare fucking call that number, and he takes the card from him. And then he calls the number as he's about to get on the plane and reveals himself. It's like, hey, I won. I know your shit. Why do you do this? And then the frontman says, just get on the plane and don't worry about it. And Gi-hun turns around and gets off the plane. And that's how the show ends. Yeah, I don't like this last minute of the show. Literally the last, 60 seconds. Everything up to that point I had no problem with. The red hair was weird.
I think
but-
everything after, I think the last 50 minutes of the whole show just kind of made me feel very weird.
I mean, it's definitely the whole... I mean, that's sort of the point. Him not using the money and all that shit is odd.
I
You're
get
supposed
that,
to
but
be,
then it's
thrown
like
off by
the
it,
old
but-
man was alive the whole time, and he was actually the villain. I'm like, what?
Well, I think that was hinted at really well. Like, if you look back, there's a
Yeah,
lot
if
of...
you rewatch it, there's the hints and everything, but I don't know, I feel kind of betrayed by it as well, because you have the whole show building on this relationship with them, and
Well,
then when
that's-
he dies, you're bawling your eyes out, and then it's just oh no, he was a villain all along. So
Well, you're
what?
supposed to feel betrayed. It's a betrayal.
I don't like it.
You're not supposed to like it.
Doesn't mean I don't like it.
What is
Oh, they
happening
made
this
me feel.
episode?
They made me feel negative. Oh, I don't feel negative anymore because it's how it's supposed to be. No, it shit sucked. And I don't
But-
like it.
But there's a difference, I think, and maybe I'm misunderstanding what you're saying. There's a difference between it's objectively bad writing and it made me feel bad because it's a bad twist.
No, it just made me feel bad, and I feel bad.
Okay, but that's okay.
I don't think it is because I feel bad.
How
I
dare
don't wanna
media
feel bad.
upset you?
What?
How dare media upset you?
Right. I didn't come into this wanting to be upset. This deaf game show. I didn't want to be upset.
Right. Yeah, I just don't think the ending makes a ton of sense in the sense that what is Gi-hun fucking Batman now? He's a vigilante that's gonna go take down the fucking Squid Game? Like what
How's
what?
it- He's just a man.
He's just a
you
dude that
do
dyed
that?
his hair red.
Yeah. What can he do?
Was this whole
was-
first season secretly the origin story for some sort of superhero story? Because that's not what it seems to be, but that's
You
what the
saw it
ending
in
implies.
in the second episode where he's at the police station, trying to explain it. Are you gonna go back again and try it again? What? You have nothing other than a business card that's dubious at best.
Right, like
He had it with him
still,
the first time, and it did nothing.
you don't know any more about them now than you did before, and they're still just as like, what are you gonna do different in the game this time that suddenly you're gonna fucking take down the organization?
There were players who already tried that, and it didn't work.
Right, and a detective outside of the game that tried it and it didn't work.
He almost got there, but because of a shit signal on the island, it didn't work.
Now I'll say this: if a second season happens, the prospect that the detective is still alive is very strong, and
I hope he is,
Him-
because that's just really unsatisfying if he's just dead.
the two of them working together, that changes it a little. But just the idea, Gi-hun doesn't know this guy even exists. The idea that he thinks he's gonna waltz in there and change anything is just fucking ridiculous. And it just the whole show, for as wild as the premise is, it treats it in a very grounded way. You're not Superman. You're not just gonna get out of these games unscathed. Nobody does, even the winners. So, fuck do you think you're gonna do? It's just a wild way to end it.
They could have gone really basic with it and just be like, oh, he has the money and everything's happy now, haha. But no.
Sure, and I don't necessarily think that would have been better. I don't know what I wanted, to be honest, but I don't think this was it.
How would you have booked the ending of Squid Game?
Yeah, like, I don't know. Like, because if it was just, I don't know, I feel like there is some value to you go through all this horror and trauma and then at least it was worth something, you know? Not necessarily for him, but, you know, helping out the girl's brother and Sung-woo's mom.
Well, I mean, he did, because he helped out the orphan, he grabbed the orphan, gave it to Sung-woo's mom, who's old and will probably die anyway, so I don't really get what the setup was with that.
But it wasn't, I don't think it was all the money. I think it was probably like
half of it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was, because it would have been Sang-woo's share, yeah, because when Sang-woo died at the end, he was like, help my mother.
Yeah. Everyone was dying and saying to Ji-hyun, help my family.
Yeah, basically. So he did that as best he could, but he won't help his own family, apparently.
That's the part that sucks, right? Like, okay, your mom died. That's unfortunate. That's your tragic thing, right? Your daughter's just fucking waiting for you. You said you were going to get on the plane, and you're just not.
Because I have
gotta go fight the squids.
Gonna beat him off with a giant stick with a knife on the end of it.
Like, I don't know. I don't know what exactly I wanted, but it's not that.
Granted, if there's a sequel and it does this, I think Battle Royale is an apt comparison, honestly.
How so?
Well, because Battle Royale, the original movie, ends in a similar way in that the survivors of the game are now basically fugitives and they have to go and live a life, and it's implied that they'll bring down the government that's doing all the Battle Royale games.
How do they
and
go
then the
about
sequel
that?
Was made. Huh?
How do they go about that? Because Hunger Games does the same thing, but with Hunger Games you have this underground army that's going to fight the government. Gi-hun's one guy.
Well, in Battle Royale, it ends with them going into Shibuya Station being like, well, one day we'll be on the run and we'll find peace and we'll stop all this. And then the sequel came out and it was shit. Because it just wasn't made very well. But the entire point of that was that they got previous survivors of the Battle Royale games, called them the Wild Seven, basically made them like terrorists, and made them like attack the government that way.
Hmm.
And they sent what would be the Battle Royale class of that year to go and fight the Wild Seven. With disastrous results.
Yeah, that sounds bad.
Yeah, it's not a great movie. It's weirdly anti-American as well. Like, it's so odd. But yeah, if they wanted to do a sequel, they could always do the thing of like, well, Squid Games have been running for like decades. What are the previous winners? We know of one of them. We have the current winner on a vendetta. Is he gonna find other ones? Maybe. Who knows?
But that's the other thing, right? Like, this is what I'm saying
about... Does he
about...
even know? Like, does he even know that it's been going? Like, he'd have to...
This is part of what I'm saying, right? Like, we know that information because the detective found it out. Gi-hun does not know any of this.
Right.
He is going with the intent to, by himself, destroy the Squid Games, which is fucking ridiculous.
So here's a question.
Yeah?
Regardless of whether it's confirmed or not, would you want a season 2? For me, I am not sure, but I just hope that if we do get anything, that it's not bad.
I think that's the main thing. I think my...
I want it to be good, because, like, we've said it before, decades of Squid Games, you could do, like, what, Squid Game 2002? Or
I mean, sure,
Squid
you
Game
could always...
1985, like, there's prequels you could do, there's specific stories you could zone in on. Like, it doesn't have to be a direct continuation, but...
Here's what I think, right?
Whatever it is, I just hope it's good.
If you told me before watching the last episode, right? Like, write the premise for a second season before we do this last episode so we know how to set it up, right? Gi-hun still wins, right? I would have him go to America to be with his kid. Second season... Hold on, stay with me here. That is set up. Second season is a new cast of people playing the Squid Game. But we get more and more people getting closer and closer to, like, getting to the bottom of it, right? Because, like, the detective, he figures it out, but he gets shot down. Gi-hun wants to stop them, but he has no information. We get more and more people, like, getting to this point, and then you can put together a team of winners over the course of 2 or 3 seasons, and you can have Gi-hun come back into the fold that way, and then try to take down the Squid Games with the help of the detective who's still alive and shit like that. Like, to just have Gi-hun run back in and, like, I'm gonna beat him, it's kind of fucking wild. But again, do I want a season 2? I don't know if I want one, but with the way the first season ended, if season 2 is good, then that, like, totally negates all my qualms about the ending here. But if it's bad, it justifies my problems with it. So I don't know if I want one, but if one happens and it's good, it fixes my issues.
Because generally, like, Netflix's track record is, it's decent, I'd say, but that's only with shows that have, like, a pre-established, like, plan, you know? Like, they have sequels in mind. This one does not. It was just a one-shot thing written by the guy as, like, a one-and-done thing. And he said himself, I've looked it up, he said himself that if there's nothing confirmed, but if people want it, then I guess I'll do it. But he said there's nothing on paper yet, so I don't know. It depends. It's a bit too soon to be discussing it, really, I think, after only a month of having it out. But
this show's brand new.
I'm just worried that it's going to go down the route of, like, Saw, where, like, the first one is super good, but then it just gets more and more watered down because, more or less, you're just watching the same games, just with different people, and there's only so many games that you can do in Squid Games before it gets, like, dumb. I mean, granted, there's probably at least, like, 6 more that they could have done. We just don't know what they are, because we're not in the Korean culture, we don't know what the game would be. I just don't have many, reaffirming thoughts about it being objectively a good story. It depends on how they tackle it, but would I be fine with it not having a sequel? Yeah, because you can just fill in the blanks and write it yourself and live in a happy delusional land.
The big blank for me, though, with Gi-hun leaving the plane is just so hard to ignore.
Well, it fits his character arc, because his whole thing is that there's good in people. And he is good as a person, and he wants to stop bad things from happening. So if he would have just boarded a plane, knowing that the Squid Games are going on and like 400 more people are gonna die, like that goes against everything that we learned about him throughout the show. Like he's selfless in a way. He can be very selfish at times, but his core, like, fundamental character is that he's selfless. He will sacrifice a lot.
I think if you didn't have the ending take place in the airport, it would be
Or even if
different.
it's like, it just ends when the call hangs up. Like, you don't see him make a decision.
That would have been much better. I would have been way happier not knowing if he turned around or not.
Yeah.
It's the fact that
now
I
we've
saw
seen
him turn
do
around
it.
and I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, I don't know. Point being, though, objectively, the whole season, worth watching.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's definitely a show I recommend because it's just fucking
There
great.
is the issue of the
the dub.
Well, the dub and the sub both have problems, apparently.
Right, because the sub uses the same lines from the dub. The dub's acting is terrible, but the translation issues persist in both versions.
And to make it clear, I watched the original Korean audio with English subs. I didn't watch the dub because dubs are trash, and more often than not, they miss out on a lot of the original meaning. So,
out of curiosity, I went back to a couple scenes and saw them in dub, and they're not good.
They're not good.
Gi-hun's voice actor's not terrible. There's times where he's totally fine. Almost every other character's trash.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, there's no need.
No.
I get why they did it, is to, like, make it more accessible for English speakers who are afraid of other languages, but...
Every time I see people, like, criticize sub, it's like, dude, you're just staring at the bottom of the screen and you're not even watching the show. It's like, how bad of a reader are you?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that focus intensive to read subtitles.
They make it sound like the screen is like the size of the sky, and I'm just looking down all the whole fucking time. It's like, no. Like, my eyes, my depth of field is fucking big enough that I can watch something and then read the subtitles and then look back up.
Right.
know?
And people that have true divergent issues that are like, yeah, it's hard to
Yeah,
focus
of
on one or the
course,
other. Like, that's different. That's a different thing. But for the everyday person that's just like, I don't want to, I can't watch and read at the same time. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Maybe this isn't for you then.
Yeah, don't watch the show, I guess, because the dub's terrible. You'll get a whole bad experience out of it.
Yeah. So, yeah, overall, if you're going to watch it with subs.
If you can.
Or if you're going to learn the whole Korean language, then go for
Apparently, that's
that
the better way to do it, because like we said, the sub, even, the translation's not great. You lose a lot of meaning in lines from what we hear.
Yeah, but I guess you can just, like, further read into it afterward, but...
Right, because I think there's a moment, the crazy woman, I don't remember her name, but she says something like...
Minyo.
She says something along the lines of, like, I didn't study, but I'm capable, or something, is what the subtitles say. And meanwhile, it came out that what she actually says in Korean is more like, I didn't get the chance to study, but I am intelligent, which speaks to that class gap and how some people just do not get the opportunity to go to school in Korea. But we lose that line in the translation. So there's definitely issues both ways, but the dub's acting is what sells it as being the worst option.
I'm just glad that there's subs. Because I can't speak Korean, and I want to consume this media.
Is there a dub of Itaewon Class?
I don't think there is.
Good.
I was going to say, like, would you change and watch the dub?
I'd be curious to hear it, but I wouldn't want to watch it consistently.
Dub. No.
I love the idea of an American voice actor trying to do Park Seo-roy's. Oh?
What?
What did you say?
What was that? Nani? Fucking so dumb. But yeah, Squid Game's good. It's hyped up a lot. And there's a lot of people out there who are probably like, oh, is it worth the hype? I'm like, sure.
It's absolutely worth the hype.
I mean, if you've listened in this far, you've seen it all, so...
Yeah, probably. We're at the bad point in the show to be selling it.
Yeah. Watch it again.
Yeah. Go watch it 3 more times. See if you can pick up the hints about the old man.
Pick up on everything that you missed and how the loose plot threads are just dangling from the ceiling, waiting to be picked up.
Like the tentacles of a squid.
Came through the portal and ate Peggy.
Shank Peggy.
No, you can call her Sharon, but that's her niece.
Oh, yes. But yeah, I think that about wraps up what we wanted to talk about here.
But over there
is our fucking wrap-up section of the show where we talk about the fact that if you want to follow us on social medias, write us an email first.
Oh my god, that was terrible.
It's
we have
the
an
worst
email
line.
address you can write us to. It is bitter... What is it?
This is the worst ending we've ever had. Cut this whole thing. I'm not even kidding. So yeah, that about wraps up what we wanted to talk about here today. And with that, if you wanted to tell us what you think about What If or Squid Game or Bad Boys, you can send us an email, bitterchatterpodcast@gmail.com. We also have socials you can follow, a Twitter and an Instagram. Go figure. @BitterChatPod is the handle for both of those. We also have a Discord server, which is Bitter Chatter's Chatter on Discord. The link for that is in the description of our YouTube videos if you don't want to search it. You just want a direct link.
Oh,
right?
I had no idea.
You didn't know?
I didn't put that in there.
It's in there.
Did you put it in there?
No. You did definitely put it in there because it's there and I didn't touch it.
I guess I put it in there.
Wow, really?
I didn't know that.
It's the second link in the description.
Oh, cool.
The first link is our merchandise, which you can find at redbubble.com/people/bitterchatpod. Do you remember putting that link in there?
No. I don't remember doing anything. Where am I?
Fucking great. Your name is Oh Il Num.
No, it's not.
Yeah, so we also have personal socials. What are yours?
Strayborn.
Where?
Twitter and TikTok.
Cool. Mine's at @thatguy_Carmine on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram. You can find me tweeting about nothing and posting on TikTok about nothing. I'm posting on Instagram about nothing.
Some of our latest tweets. Let me read one of yours, and you read one of mine.
Oh, okay. We'll do this then.
We might as well do this at the end of every show. Puts pressure on you to tweet.
Yeah, because what if I don't have anything new?
Squid Game, but the host is Gordon Ramsay, and you have to cook 6 meals to his liking to survive.
I forgot I tweeted that.
Yes, you did.
Do I perhaps maybe send my friends too many TikToks? Potentially. Am I sorry? No.
Nah, I'm not sorry. They're good.
You're not even the friend that sends me the most TikToks, to be fair, so...
I think we both know who that is.
Yes, it's a mutual friend of ours. But
and we love it.
It's great. So, thank you for listening, and I hope you don't encounter an old man who wants to watch you play death games for fun.
Would you like to play a game?
No, but...
It is called hopscotch.
Hopscotch? How's that different from hopscotch?
Hopscotch is when you die at the end.
I don't want to play this game.
You will get $1 million.
But I'll be dead.
I'll get $1 million.
I will inherit your $1 million, because you'll be dead.
I'm dead.
Oh, I got the $1 million! There's no conclusion to this.
It sound right, boy.